wedding. 2 years later, I'm buying a home. 2 years later, I was capable of walking down to Haverty's furniture store, talking to one salesperson and say, look, I just bought a house. I don't have any money to buy furniture, but I think my credit score is good enough. My problem is I can afford to pay you a monthly payment for this furniture, but I can't afford to pay you an interest. So in order for you to make this money for me to furnish my house, then what can you do for me? Because I can't afford to pay you any interest. So I talked to the salesperson. From them, he sent me to one of the, I guess, the floor manager. And based on my credit score, now I always kept a good credit score. I always paid my bills. And I was able to get the furniture from Haverty's, and they gave me like 18 months to pay them off. They said all payments up for 18 months, but I did get the furniture at 0% interest.
Wow.
You know? So, but that took a little talking. So that was my first start. Then, but now the other thing is, my last 2 years in the military, I'm in the military. So then I had to change my mindset and to catch up with where I felt I should have been. That means I got to do something differently. So instead of me hanging out with my boys at night and afternoon, I went and found me a job. So I was in the Army and I was working a full-time job. Now, why? Because I still have 3 kids. And the 3 kids, they still need certain things. So then the Army check was basically handling, you know, my basic needs. Then what am I going to be able to put up? How am I going to start some type of investing? Where is this money going to come from? So I had to suffer for 2 years. 2 years in the military and working a full-time job, doing both. And that changed my whole mindset. So I sat back and thought about, okay, the church I was going to in Temple, Texas, the pastor came up one day and said, you know, I need you and your wife to put something together and speak to the young teenagers in our church. So we started this program now. We kept changing over years. This was, I don't know, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 5, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood. But we kept changing it to make it better, you know. And now I believe that we actually have a good product that would actually help young teenagers along the way based on the adversities that I went through. So if someone is giving you some tips on what they actually did and they know it worked for them, then maybe they can assist these kids that we finna speak to and give them a different mindset. And that's the main thing, a different mindset, you know. And so so back to the program, hopefully that was enough about my background, but once again.
That was so powerful because that's some of the stuff, you know, hey, I got Darius, you're supposed to actually be on this. He just tuned in. What's up, Brother Mustafa? I got a couple of brothers on here. That was actually powerful because the one thing in our Exodus House incubation program, and I'm glad without you even knowing this, the first thing I always tell my clients is, the first thing I want to deal with is your mindset, changing your mindset. Because when you always talk about economical power, we always hear about economical power. How can we teach our youth economical power? Well, we can never teach our youth or ourselves economical power without economical development. And what is economical development? Developing a mindset that is different from what you were thinking. Changing, understanding, even as an entrepreneur, that an entrepreneur work 80 hours so they don't have to work 40. Certain things that you can do and can't do. It's about changing that mindset. So when you have economical development, which is changing that mindset, it creates economical empowerment, which in turn creates economical opportunity. And I think basically, listen to you, when you change your mindset, you start to become empowered and opportunities started to come. So when he talks about tips for success, and I seen your mission statement, it says, tips for success has a mission to inspire and enable all young people to reach their full potential and be productive, responsible, and caring citizens. Tell us a little bit about that. I just had to throw the mission statement out there and then break it down because I see you have quite a few things that you're going to be teaching them.
All right. Now, if we can follow that mission statement, just like any other company, if we can actually be productive You know, that's something that we must do. I mean, we can go out there, we can apply for jobs, we can do all this thing, but is that job a productive job for you? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. So when I'm saying Tilt for Success has a mission statement, now you got to put yourself. I'm thinking about each individual person. Is that job that you holding, is that a productive job for you?
Wow.
In other words, what is this job offering you besides just an hourly wage? But what else is it offering you? Now, you are given this job, everything you have, 8 to 10, 12 hours a day, depends on what type of job you work. Now, is that salary good enough for you to live on where you believe you should be living? Is it that? Is it making you feel like you're accomplishing something? Because you got to realize, we apply for these jobs. And once we get that job, a lot of us believe that's it for me. We believe we got a job and I can stay here and I can stay here and do my 20, 30 years and hopefully I'll make it to 65 and I can retire. Now, do that job have a retirement plan? If that job don't have a retirement plan, why are you at that job? Why are you at that job?
You acting like a preacher. I'm getting ready to say you offering.
You know, I'm just saying we have to think like an organization think. Walmart. I hate to keep using Walmart, but
go ahead, use it because that's where we give all our money to anyway.
Walmart is not going to make any decisions that doesn't benefit Walmart. Point blank. So every decision we make needs to benefit us. It needs to benefit us mentally, physically, spiritually, or financially. Every decision. Every decision. Now, if we think like that, we'll think like a business. And if you think like, if you put that in your life, that I'm going to run my life the way big businesses think, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be okay. Now, once again, that might mean getting rid of some people around you, because big businesses, if you're not performing at that job will let you go. So people you hang around, you know what I mean? If there's no benefit to you,
man,
not being selfish, now you might need to change some of your friends. Because if all we know is sitting down every day and we're discussing what LeBron did last night, what Michael Jordan did 10 years ago, that's not helping me. That's not empowering me at all. That's not helping me. LeBron's already said, God gave LeBron a talent. God also gave me a talent. It might not be for basketball. I don't know what it is, but I got to figure out what is my talent that God gave me and put that to work for me. I might not make the money that LeBron is making. LeBron might be driving a Porsche, but I can drive me a new Volkswagen. You understand what I'm saying? If I manage my money right. You know, and it comes down to that, you know, and that's one of the things that I talk about for being productive. And the same thing as being responsible, right? So one must be responsible for oneself. That's just the key. Now, you the only person, when you get your paycheck, your name is on it. What you gonna do with it? When you go out there and buy something you can't afford, you're the one that's signing, telling these people that I'm gonna pay this bill. Whether you can afford it or not. I mean, you know, that's what we do. So we need to start thinking about, okay, what is it that I can afford? I want to live below my means. Because companies have insurance in case if you're working at any store, you break something in that store, 9 times out of 10 get insurance. That store get robbed, 9 times out of 10 they're going to make more money than what the actual item costs based on the insurance they have. So we need to think about having that type of security for us. So in order for that to happen, once again, we just got to change our mindset. Change our mindset and be responsible for our actions. And at the same time, you also got to be caring. You got to be caring for for those around you, and you also get to make build some type of foundation for your children. So when your children get a certain age, they're going to have a little more to start on than we did. And that's what the whole mission statement is about. That's it in a nutshell. And we also talk about how to get there. We're giving them ideas on how to get there, right? We also have a theme for our program. Our theme is a vision is only an illusion without execution.
Whoa, say that again. Whoa.
A vision is only an illusion without execution. Right. So I can sit here and I can have all these dreams about what I want to do. If I don't step out on faith and take some type of action, it's only an illusion. Now, as I told you earlier, at 35, 36.
Hold on 1 second, Brother Roy, Mr. Roy. Hey, listen, y'all, I need you guys to start sharing this, because listen, I'm telling you, I'm ready to take this class. I'm getting stuff out of this. Start sharing this, not just share it. I need y'all to tag Pacific people right now, because if this is what these young people going to get on July 12th to the 18th, on July 16th to the 20th, I'm going to have to bring him back for some grown folk. Go ahead, Mr. Roy, I'm sorry.
Now, where did this vision is on an illusion without execution? How did that come? Where did I think of that? Where did it come from? Now, this is also based on a Bible verse. Now, if you go to Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 9, it automatically tells you, whatever your hands find to do, do it with your might. For there's no work or device for knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. So that verse tells us, whatever it is you're going to do, you must put everything you have in it to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. Because once you leave this earth, that's it. For us being on this earth. So whatever it is you want to achieve, you are the person that has to make that happen for you. And as we all know, the world, this great place called America, it's not fair. It's just not fair. But you got to figure out a way to make it fair for you. How do you make America fair for you? You got to just sit there and figure it out. So you got to have some type of tools, things to think about, to make it fair for you. Because we know it's not. And we believe at 17, 18 years old, we believe that we just know everything. When I was 17, I thought I knew everything till I got away from home. And I realized I didn't know anything. You understand what I'm saying? I really didn't know anything. So I didn't have any tips. There was no guidance. There's guidance to tell you what to do every day at your job, whether it's in the military, whether it's a civilian job. But what's the guidance for your life? Mm-hmm. So if the companies have a mission statement, why shouldn't we sit down and figure out a mission statement for our lives? And if we can do that at 16 or 17 years old, then we have that vision because we wrote our own mission statement. Now, another thing I have kids to do is think about what do they want people to remember about them when they leave this earth. So in other words, the day that God calls you home and people will come to your funeral, we hope somebody come. We hope somebody come. What are they going to say about you? You know what I mean? What are they going to say about you that day? Man, this was a great guy. He helped everybody. He was a caring person, very responsible for himself. He was just a good guy. What do you want them to say? Man, I ain't going to his funeral. He was nothing. He owed everybody. He didn't pay his bills. Matter of fact, he owed me $30 right now. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So if we can get these, if we, you know, we can start thinking about that. What's our purpose here? What's our purpose? You know, why did God give me this health, this, you know, this breath, this mind? What am I going to do with it? You know, I look at life now that I'm a lot wiser than I was 20, 30 years ago. I say, you know, God has done his job on me. I'm healthy. I'm fully clothed. I'm in my right mind. I'm breathing this beautiful air every morning. Now that I'm breathing it, what am I going to do? How am I going to make my life as comfortable as I can based on my means? And the thing is, now you got to think about it. All the talent, no, I don't know anyone that has maximized the talent that God gave them. I don't know any. So we don't, first we got to understand our importance. And our importance comes from our own mission statement of saying what it is we want to accomplish in this, on this great earth. What it is that you as an individual want to accomplish. And once you figure out what you want to accomplish, our program is going to give you some tips of how to accomplish. And that's the thing. What it is you want to accomplish. Now you got to understand, everybody's not going to be a doctor. Everybody's not going to be a lawyer. But whatever it is you chose to do, then we can try. Our tips is going to make you good at it or the best at it. And while you're the best at it, you're also running that job, that life, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, whatever you are, Walmart worker, you know, we just will give you tips on how to improve that, how to manage that money that you're making, you know, how to, like I said, save every dime, a dime of every dollar. So once again, if you know, we know for a fact, if they say I'm making $50,000 a year, $50,000 is not coming in your hand. We know that already. We know, you know, so because we don't think about subtracting everything the government's gonna take out of our check before we get it. So I'm talking about the money in your hand. The money in your hand, let's try to save a dime out of every dollar. Now think about it. If you'd have been thinking about this at 17 years old, or the first job you had, you say, okay, whatever I get, whatever I get in my paycheck, I'm gonna subtract 10 cents out of every dollar. And I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm gonna find some mutual fund. I'm gonna find some type of investment that I'm going to start, you know, put that 10 cents in. If you do that over from your first job at 18 to 22, then that's quite a bit of money for 40 plus years. If we can keep that same mindset. That's just one of the things. Now, I've also talked about the legacy statement, the personal mission statement. And another thing we get to realize is we also got to have confidence in ourselves. So once we change our mindset, we also got to believe that we are deserving of better. So you got to have confidence in yourself. Confidence is just something that you just got to have. Because if you go and apply for a job today, and that person turn you down, the second job turn you down, if you don't have confidence to go apply for the third job, which might have been your job, but you just lost confidence in yourself. So that's it for you. That's it for you. So, you know, we want to try to talk to these kids to let them know that they are a CEO of their life. The first thing, you got to have that confidence. You got to stay motivated. Regardless of the adversities, you got to stay motivated. All right. So once we go through all that, there are several other things that we do. And we know the primary reasons There are three primary reasons that we're unsuccessful, whether it's a person or company. Once again, let's as I said, we got to start thinking like a company. We got to just start thinking like a company. And so the three reasons why we're unsuccessful is lack of confidence, lack of focus, and lack of direction. That's primary three reasons why businesses fail and why we fail as individuals. Or we don't try to maximize that skill set that God gave us. Those three reasons. And as I said earlier, the three primary reasons companies are successful is they're confident, they have confidence in themselves, they stay motivated, and they are determined to achieve their goal regardless of what adversities that comes their way. Because everything is not going to be cake and ice cream for you. For some days it might just be dirt. I mean, I'm just saying. So you got to understand that you're the person that's driving this car. Wherever you want this car to go is up to you. So once you talk to that man in the mirror, which is yourself, then if you do that, then you're going to be okay. Whatever task you accept to achieve, whatever route you accept to go, you're going to be okay if you keep that confidence in yourself. And also in the next part, things we talk about is how do we stay confident? What do we have to do to keep that right mindset? So I came up with this thing that calls 4 P's. 4 P's of success. First of all, we got to think about being patient, because some days things are not just going to go our way, but we've already set our goals. We've already know what it is we're trying to achieve. So we just got to be patient. It might not be today, it might not be the next week, but we must remain patient. And at all times, we must be productive. We just got to stay productive. And we got to remain positive. And also we must be prayerful. So we can take these 4 P's, and you also got to think about that if I'm going to follow these 4 P's, now I need to keep some type of a log. So sit down and write.
We lost your volume, Brother Roy. All right, you good. Go ahead.
Of what you're doing, because once again, every item that's sold at any of these stores, they keep a log of what they sell and what people are buying. So they keep some type of focus of what's working for the company and what's not working. That's why you see a lot of these companies, they keep items or they get rid of items, based on what's on their inventory. So we keep that mindset. We just keep that ourselves and use these 4 P's as a baseline of writing about how things go in our life, and we see where it is that we can improve and just try to improve on that. And while we're doing all that, then at the same time, we also must, we talk to the children about have goals, how to set their goals, and how to stay focused on their goals, once again, by following the format of the 4 P's. Brother Ray.
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Okay.
We just listen to you. Look, I'm enjoying everything you're saying. Just keep flowing. And when you looked at, I know you were talking about certain things. When I look at your workshop objectives, something just struck out for me. If you can talk about that. Trade schools versus traditional colleges. If you could just talk about that a little bit, because that's I know in the African American community, everybody's not made to go to college. And one of the things in our community, when we had in our school, when we had, I remember we had wood shop, we had auto shop, we had carpentry, we had all those things, because everybody, at least when you left high school, even when you left junior high school, you actually had a trade. So if you can talk a little bit about trade school versus traditional college.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the student loan, I mean, most of us don't have the money for our children to go to college. Right. Well, first thing, whatever field a child decides going, he needs to make sure that's his field. The reason why I say a child needs to make sure that's his field, because if you look back, when we graduated high school, you know, we had this yearbook. You know, we all seniors or juniors, we ready to get out of high school and go do all these great and powerful things, right? So in our yearbook, we wrote all these nice things, what we're going to be, what we want to do. Now, how many of us actually achieved that goal that we wrote in our high school yearbook, what we want to be? How many of us actually achieved it? So, based on the high school class I graduated with, I keep up with, over the years, I kept up with quite a few of them. And I would say less than 2% of us actually achieved what we said we was going to be when we, in our yearbook. Well, we wrote in our yearbook, a small percent of us actually achieved that goal. So what happened to the other 95% of us that didn't achieve our goal? I mean, what was it that caused us not to achieve our goal while we was in high school, right? So that's why I came up with this idea about, okay, let me talk about a little bit about trade school versus traditional college. Now, if a child if it's this desire to go to college, first we need to think about, do you have that $80,000 for that 4-year degree? If you have $8,000 for the 4-year degree and you can pay that, and you can pay for your classes and go, then you're okay. If you got that money, that you can afford to spend on this college, that's great. If you have to get a student loan, now student loans is one of the big, if you're asking me, this is my personal opinion, student loan, that's one of the biggest rip-offs out there. And the reason why I say that, because now, although we're teenagers, but our parents have been paying taxes for all these years. So now I need to borrow money that my parents have paid in taxes for me to go to school. Then I got to turn around and pay 6% or more interest on this same money. That's crazy to me. That's so crazy. That's just crazy. Now I got to pay it for 25 years. So I'm paying $80,000 to go to college to get a $30,000 or $40,000 job. That math doesn't make sense. So if you're a young person, you want to go to college, you got to make sure that the job you're going to get after you receive this 4 years of training, if you had to obtain a student loan to go to college, you got to make sure that this job, after you deduct the money that you pay your student loan, after you pay something for yourself and you can pay your bills, can you live off of what's left? If the answer is no, you might think about going to a trade school. And the reason why I say it, because I can go to you can go to a trade school as a mechanic, as a electrician, as a refrigerator repair person, air conditioner repair person. Now, most people that go to a trade school can end up starting their own business quicker than that person that actually go to a 4-year college. Because wow, that trade school is actually going to give you something that the average citizen needs. If you're an electrician, there's always going to be something in your house you're going to need an electrician for. If you're an air conditioner repair person who don't have an air conditioner, who don't need air conditioning service, who don't need a new air conditioner after 5 or 10 years. So if you're talking about owning a business, which is the best route? Now, if you have that talent that you know for a fact you're going to be a nurse. Well, nurse is a 2-year course, unless you want to get a 4-year in nursing, or you want to get a doctor. Then that's understandable. Why that check that you receive as a doctor, you shouldn't have any problems paying your student loan. But if I go to school and I want to go to school in business, because I believe I'm on a business, so I go to school in the business, realize when I get out of school, the only job I can get is paying me $40,000 a year. Now that's the salary, that's not what's coming in my hand. But what's coming in my hand, I get to still pay that student loan. And that student loan monthly payment might be $400 or $500. So now I got to count, I got to count this $400 or $500, not even counting the 6% interest for 25 years. So we need to be very, very careful with the road that we take and make sure that that road is right for me. And that's why I said we need to start thinking like a business. So every time you make a decision, you are making a business decision. So if you don't believe that student loan that you're paying $80,000 for, that's going to benefit you once you graduate with a $40,000 job, then we might need to rethink that.
Wow. And I think a lot of times people really don't look at that. That was something real powerful. $80,000 in debt. You know, I got out of college in 1982. I paid off my student loan in 2008.
Now, there's another side of that now. There's no side of it, because you got to understand. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in human resource management, but I don't have any student loan. Now, you got to be very, very smart about that. That's why I was talking earlier about, is that the right company for you? So what I did, I ended up working at a company that had tuition assistance, right? So what this company did, and the company was Dell Computer. So I go to work at Dell, and I said, okay, I was online, and I said, now let me see what company has tuition assistance. So I was reading. At Dell, one of Dell benefits were, if you decide to go to school, you make an A or a B, Dell is going to reimburse you 100% of your tuition. 100% of your tuition. Now, there's a lot of companies that would do that. Now, I didn't have the college experience because I went to school at night. Now, I didn't graduate in 4 years. It took me about 5 or 6, because some semesters I could only take 2 classes. But once again, now I had to come out of my pocket just for the first semester. Because once you finish the first semester and you make an A or a B, within 2 weeks on your paycheck, you're getting reimbursed for the classes that you made an A and B on. So if you maximizing some of the talents that God gave you, if you get an A or a B in those classes, then you ain't got to worry about it, because the company is going to cover all of your tuition. So that's how I got my bachelor's degree. Being that I was in the military, I could use my military benefits to get my master's degree. So I got my bachelor's and master's. That was it. And that's the thing. Like I say, I didn't achieve the college. I went to school. I didn't live on campus. I went to school at night. That means I had to work an 8 to 10 hour day and try to find the classes at night that fit within my degree plan. But I'm just saying, you can still get your college degree and not owe anybody anything. That why it goes back to, is that the right company for you? Is that company offering you a benefit? So being you're working for this company, what's the trade-off? What's the quid pro quo? What's the this for that? We just have to start thinking like a business. And that's one of the things I talk about as far as a trade school versus traditional college. And I have this printout, that I give each of the kids and for them to read over, because it gives them information about how much it costs for a 4-year degree, how much it costs for different trade schools, and it might be something, it might change their mind. Because if you look at one of the problems adults are having now, is paying their student loan. Because there's no guarantee you're going to get a job once you graduate with that business degree, once you graduate with that psychology degree, once you graduate with that degree, there's no guarantee you're going to be employed. There's no guarantee. If you look around now, you probably go to Andy, I can probably go down to Lowe's right now and find people working at Lowe's with a 4-year degree, making $12 an hour. Because they didn't do a market analysis before they picked that degree. They might be in the wrong location. That the degree they have where they live might not be the best place for them to be. So you got to do a market analysis of that degree that you decide to get that student loan for, to make sure you're going to be employed is the first thing. And also to make sure that money that you make that you're going to be live what one would say a comfortable life. And that's why I say trade school versus traditional college is so important. You just get to think, because the average electrician now probably makes well over $100,000 a year. Well over $100,000. Well, I mean, some of them make way more than that with just by being an electrician. You have some of the guys that own their own a repair company. If you're the owner, you're making millions of dollars a year.
And let me just say something, and I want to make sure everybody hear this. What's up, Apostle? What's up, Pastor? What's up, Faith, Prophetess? Listen, because I need you guys to tag this and share this and look at the replay. You said something that was so powerful, and this is what people don't realize. You said having a trade, 90%, well, I'm going to say 90%. Most of the people that have a trade gets into a business, does a small business. Now, so let me share some information with the people. Everybody wants to get into real estate, and real estate gives you about a 9 to 10% return, which is great. Real estate, you can make money 9 to 10% return. That is great. But based on the Investment for Dummies, the book Investment for Dummies, right? Small business owners, small businesses produce more multimillionaires than anything. So if y'all listening to this thing and you have some youth, you look, the list is starting to get people on the list. So it's only 15 youth that's going to be on there. 15 is a cutoff. So far, you listen to Brother Roy Burns. I mean, some of the stuff he's saying right now, this is stuff adults need. And we're giving the youth 12 to 18. We're giving them some of this, come the 12th of July. And here, let me tell you some of the other stuff that he was saying that's also going to be taught to some of them, because he said something about market analysis. So some of the things that's going to be taught also is going to be self-assessments, personal goals, business name brainstorming, how to name your business, demographic analysis, understand the demographics in the area that you're in, competitive analysis. These are the things he's saying, right? You're going to how you price stuff, who you're going to be competing with. This is the stuff that they're going to be learning in this boot camp. Also, industry analysis, financial plans, target marketing. He just talked about marketing. You got to be able to know what's going on. Who's your niche? Listen, where are you located that's going to be able to solve an identifiable problem for your business? Or if you have a degree, where do you live that there's business opportunities for growth in your field? And lastly, what is your startup expenses? We're going to be talking about stuff like it's starting a business right for you, evaluating your ideas and your niche, small business forms, how successful people think, cultivating big picture thinking, is starting a business right for you, get me started to success, 7 criteria for business models. And so these are some of the things that's going to be so powerful at that boot camp. But I'm listening to Brother Roy right now. I'm ready to take his class myself. So, Brother Roy, because we got to get ready to get out of here, but I can listen to you all day. And I hope that people are getting some good stuff out of it. Look, so, and wrapping up, give us some closing thoughts. Give us some contact information where people can contact you, that they can come out, that they can get you to come out and do workshops and at different venues around the country. Give us the last thoughts and give us some contact information.
Okay, I'm gonna give you contact information first. A phone number is 254-760-0652. My email address is royburns44@yahoo.com. So once again, in closing remarks, I followed my own plan. Now, once I say again, at 35, 36, I had $200. By the time I was 55, I was ready to retire just by following this plan.
Wow.
So then I was ready to retire at 55. I said, okay, well, I'm feeling pretty good. Let me sit around this job for 3 more years, which I did. Now, during that 3 more years, I figured out how, like I said, I started learning how to invest money. You know, I set up a little funds for my kids. You know, I've already gave them some funds. And I'm not no doctor. I'm not no lawyer. I'm a country boy. The only thing I knew at 15 years old was how to farm. I knew how to pick cotton. I knew how to crop tobacco. I knew how to pick corn. That's all my grandfather, my family knew was farmers. And once again, we didn't own the land. My dream also at 35 or 36, one day I want to live in a retirement community that had a golf course, had indoor swimming pool, outdoor swimming pool, had gyms and tennis courts. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm just telling you, if you set a plan for yourself, if you think like a business and never be the smartest one in the group. If you're the smartest one in the group, find you a new group so that you can learn from other people. And the people you're learning from, now, hopefully they look like you, but they might not. Because you're not there, you're there for information. You're there for information. And if you do that, you can achieve your goal. Why? Because God already gave you the talents to do it. You just got to employ your talents. Yes, sir.
You know what I always say, Brother Roy? I always tell people, look, take a survey of you and 4 of your other friends, 5 of y'all. Ask yourself, if do all 5 of y'all combined income if it's more than $500,000? And if it's not, you might want to change friends.
That's right.
But thank you, Brother Roy. Look, I'm excited. I can't wait for you to be down here. I mean, these young people. And guess what? I'll be honest with you, man. You threw me. I mean, I just learned a whole lot. I'm excited now even more after listening to you, after listening to your presentation, what those young people are going to have in store. But I'm not going to limit you to young folk, because what you need, older people need too. So you on my circuit. Where I go, you going. So listen.
I most definitely want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. You know, and you know for a fact I believe in X's House. I'm also one of your investors.
Yes,
so
sir.
I believe in everything you're doing.
Let me tell y'all, and I'm not going to say too much, but what he says, he backs up. That's all I'm going to tell you. What he says, what you see right now, is who he is, and he does what he said. And I want to thank y'all. Listen. You know what we always do here. I always tell you, we're coming to you live all the way from where? From here. Where's here? Right here. And guess what? Like we always tell you here at Ray's Corner, Apostle Ray, welcome to the Exodus House, sponsored by the Exodus House Incubation Program. Guess what? God loves you, and I love you, and guess what? It ain't nothing you can do about that. Peace out. Thank you, Brother Roy. I love you, man. I love you. Share this. We love you. We're going to get back. Peace. Holla.
Thank you, sir.